right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
St. Louis businesses tagged by vandals.
This is going to cost us thousands of dollars to replace.
The grief this graffiti is causing for some business owners.
Wardrobe adjustment time. From shorts and flip-flops Thursday afternoon to hoodies by Sunday morning. The changes coming to the bi-state region, and if any badly needed rain comes with those changes.
Our top story, a sophomore's tragic death.
It's just now hitting us.
His soccer team's new mission, keeping his memory alive.
But now we have something more to play for.
Just hours ago, the Columbia High School soccer team took the field for an emotional game before a standing room only crowd. Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Kelly Jackson has the night off. Our Annie Krall just got back from tonight's game, which took place only 3 days after 16-year-old Crawford Bryant was killed in a car crash that also injured 3 classmates.
Mike, this isn't something you have a playbook for. With Crawford's funeral tomorrow, his former head coach and teammates told me tonight was about soccer and playing for something much bigger. Both varsity and JV teams wearing armbands for number 5.
The start of many firsts this week. The first practice, the first JV game, and the first time Columbia High School varsity soccer players will be taking the field without number 5, Crawford Bryant.
At this time, we invite you to join us in a moment of silence to honor Crawford's memory as we all reflect on how he touched our lives.
The sophomore killed in a Monroe County crash on Sunday in a car with 3 other Columbia High School students.
I think for students, whether you knew Crawford or you didn't know Crawford, the reality is hitting you that we have a classmate that this happened to. And so that reality, that wake up, that this blows the myth that this won't happen to me or this won't happen in our community. I think sometimes we all live in a bubble.
It was standing room only in the student section of Columbia High School Wednesday night, packed to watch the team take on Mascoutah, their opponents with them rather than against them in the moments ahead of kickoff. A friend of Bryant's and a senior on the soccer team, Hayes Van Bruzigen, told us how the last several days have been.
In the halls, it's been, to be honest with you, it's been kind of somber. It's been kind of quiet.
But that emotion turned to strength on the soccer field as the team came together, which led to goals. As the other sophomore varsity player who was in the car with Bryant took the field, recovered from minor injuries. Not an easy journey, Coach Jamie Bridges says, but signs of continued healing.
Obviously the shock of what happened, the shock of being in a crash and the shock of walking away and losing a teammate, losing a friend. I mean, that's a difficult for 15-year-olds to handle, and it's difficult for anyone to handle.
School is canceled tomorrow, so students and staff can attend Crawford's funeral. Coach Bridges tells us the sophomore had 2 sisters and an older brother who is a senior on the Columbia High School football team. They play Waterloo Friday night at 7 o'clock.
Breaking news, 2 police officers are in critical condition after a shooting near the campus of Western Illinois University. WIU is located in Macomb, Illinois. That's about 3 hours north of St. Louis. The Macomb Police Department says the 2 officers were serving a warrant at an off-campus home when they were shot. Police say there's no active threat, but people are being warned to stay away from the area. We'll continue to update this story as we learn more. Tonight we know the identity of the young girl killed in a North St. Louis shooting. Police say 4-year-old Harley Hosen was shot by her sibling Monday night after finding their mother's gun while the children were left home alone. 5 on Your Side's Laura Barczewski is live tonight with new information about this investigation. Laura.
Mike, St. Louis police are still finalizing their investigation, but say anyone involved will be held accountable for this little girl's death. The St. Louis Circuit Attorney's Office tells me charges have not yet been filed in this case.
On Monday, St. Louis police say 4 kids were left alone at their home on Thrush Avenue while their mother went to the store. One of the siblings found their mother's gun and shot their 4-year-old sister, Harley Hosen. Officers found her barely breathing and had to rush her to the hospital, but she didn't make it.
Child abuse detectives have taken the lead. They are in the process now of going through some of the final stages of looking at evidence, going through interviews right now.
St. Louis Police spokesperson Mitch McCoy says when it comes to charges, nothing is off the table. There could be multiple charges, including child neglect resulting in death, a Class A felony that could range from 10 years to life in prison.
We're a voice now for the 4-year-old girl who doesn't have one. We have to make sure that when we talk with the Circuit Attorney's Office and we present the facts as we know it, that we're doing that little girl justice.
If I live alone is one thing, right?
Wilford Pinckney with the Office of Violence Prevention says tragedies like this are traumatizing for many.
I feel for the family, like I said. I feel for the police officers, because I was a police officer, so responding to scenes like that over and over. Communities get tired, right, of this, where this happens frequently.
The Office of Violence Prevention connects people in need to mental health services and other assistance. He says they've found seeking help as soon as possible actually has a hand in preventing suicides and other types of gun violence.
You can also hurt others because of that pain and that trauma. Sometimes things like this, not in this case, can lead to retaliatory violence, right? People want to avenge their loved ones, right? And that's why we have programs that work in this, on the street in the community to prevent that.
Police say they are working with Child Protection Services to make sure Harley's twin and 2 other siblings are safe. Anyone experiencing trauma can call the Office of Violence Prevention at 314-299-2203. Reporting live downtown, Laura Barcheski, 5 on your side.
Tonight, a small Georgia community is coming together after a deadly school shooting. Police say 2 students and 2 teachers were killed at Appalachia High School. 9 others were injured in the attack. Officers arrested a 14-year-old student soon after they arrived at the school. Just hours ago, hundreds of grieving residents gathered for a vigil, some giving speeches to comfort the community, others releasing balloons. Students who sheltered in place during the attack described the terrifying scene.
I was scared I was going to die, to be honest. And when I heard hard lockdown, I knew it wasn't a drill. I immediately texted my dad, and I was just like, I don't know if this is a drill. I'm really scared. And I just kept my feet up, and I prayed. And I closed my eyes, and I tried to stay calm. But I was shaking. I was worried that they would hear me. But when I heard gunshots, I knew.
President Joe Biden issued a statement mourning the lives lost in the shooting. He said his administration is working with local, state, and federal officials on the case and calling on Congress to pass common sense gun safety legislation.
Enough is enough. And I cannot say this enough, which is enough is enough. We cannot allow this to happen in our communities. We cannot allow this to happen in our schools.
Investigators are still working to determine the motive. They're working with prosecutors to try the 14-year-old suspect as an adult. Well, vandals recently sprayed graffiti on several St. Louis businesses. Tonight, police are still trying to figure out if the incidents are connected. New tonight, 5 on your side's Robert Townsend spoke with frustrated business owners who are adding up the costly crimes.
For more than 12 years, David Waglars has enjoyed operating his Still 630 distillery at Broadway and Choteau near the heart of downtown St. Louis.
We've stayed in it. We've put out a bunch of historical firsts. We are the most awarded distillery in the state of Missouri.
But now the proud business owner is fuming because on Saturday morning, he and his staff
we were getting ready to give tours
when Waglars spotted black and gray graffiti tags painted on all sides of his business and on his custom sign.
We've had graffiti on the sides multiple times, but this is the first time it's ever been so blatant and over such an expensive piece of our art that we put up. They're having a good kick out of it, by desecrating some local family business.
Police also checking to see if the same vandals sprayed graffiti on this building. A new Mexican restaurant will soon open here. Workers tell me they spent the day painting over the mess. Owner Doug Newen also plans to open an upscale cocktail lounge here, about 2 miles away near Gravois and Salina in South City.
It's unfortunate.
Newen found similar graffiti on his building Sunday night. The business owners believe the same vandals left a costly mess on other shops and vacant buildings in Soulard and Benton Park.
From a small business owner that's starting out and trying to open up the place, every dollar counts right now. So, it's definitely a hassle.
A couple bad apples ruin a bunch, right?
So what's your message to those bad apples?
Keep this crap in your own neighborhood. And we're trying to promote St. Louis.
Robert Townsend, 5 on your side.
A spokesperson for St. Louis Police says so far they have received 3 reports of tagging in that area. They don't have any information on suspects. Tonight, I-55 is back open in East St. Louis following a deadly crash that killed a motorcyclist. The accident closed all lanes on 55 and 64 for nearly 4 hours. Illinois State Police troopers say the motorcycle crashed into a semi-tractor trailer, and that crash remains under investigation. Right now, a small town is rallying behind a family after a deadly boating accident. Samantha Newbound says her family was boating on the Gasconade River on Sunday when their boat struck a tree root and crashed into a rock bluff. The accident killed her husband and her 7-year-old daughter. Newbound and her 9-year-old daughter are currently recovering in the hospital. A GoFundMe page for their family has already raised over $30,000.
They were just amazing people who were taken away too soon, and I'm just glad they're together. And I wish they were still here with me.
Samantha's other 2 children have been released from the hospital. She hopes she and her daughter Addison will be released soon. We have a link to that GoFundMe in the As Seen on TV section on KSDK.com. Well, the results are in. St. Louis City Sheriff Vernon Betts lost the recount vote for sheriff. Betts challenged the results of last month's primary in which he lost to Alfred Montgomery. Today, the St. Louis Board of Elections finished a 2-day process of rescanning all the ballots. The recount shows Betts lost by at least 221 votes. So far, the Betts campaign has not indicated if it might pursue a hand count of all the ballots.
It looks like this is another victory. I will be the next sheriff of the city of St. Louis.
So I can't predict, but my guess would be that this would be satisfactory, certainly to the court, and probably to the sheriff as well.
A glitch in the voting machines held up the results. Election officials say about 80 pages of votes developed smudges in the machines. However, it wasn't enough to change the outcome. A Boone County, Missouri man was in court today in connection to the murder of a college student in Indiana that happened more than 30 years ago. Dana Jermaine Shepard was recently arrested in the death of 19-year-old Carmen Van Huss. Police say they identified Shepard from new DNA evidence. Shepard now faces 2 counts of murder. The victim's family is grateful to finally have a break in the case.
There's a lot of people that put in a lot of work for a lot of years, and to every single one, we're all very, very thankful.
Shepard has an extradition hearing on September 26th.
Tonight, a break in a 35-year-old cold case.
We were all in.
The podcast that revived the investigation and put a new suspect behind bars. Trash bags put to the test.
I absolutely can't stand bags breaking on me.
Tonight, the results which could prevent you from throwing your money in the garbage.
The next weather feature to impact us, it's a front coming across the plains tonight. Why it's unlikely to ease our extremely dry conditions. Your weather impact forecast in just 7 minutes.